The importance of Filipino farmers is not a thing to be underestimated. We rank sixth in the world when it comes to rice consumption. Agriculture, however, is a very diverse sector. From farming to fishing, the agricultural sector provides a source of livelihood for many people in rural areas. Given their importance, it is alarming to see the agricultural sector struggle. While the sector did grow by 0.5% during the second quarter of this year, it only serves as a recovery from the 1.4% decline we experienced last year. That begs the question, why is the agricultural sector struggling? According to an article by the Manila Bulletin, local food producers say the current crisis is triggered by three things: low farm gate prices, failing production, and lack of government support. This will serve as our keys for us to truly understand the problem. So, let's go over them one by one. According to the Philippine Statistics Authority, farm gate price is the price received by farmers for their crops, livestock, and poultry at the location of the farm. Thus, any marketing costs, such as the transport and other marketing costs, if any, incurred in selling the produce are not included in the farm gate prices. Let's focus on this part. We can see then that farm gate prices greatly affect the income of farmers. Now, in the first week of February 2020, the farm gate price of unmilled rice hit its lowest in 8 years. Why? Well, we'll get back to that. For now, let's move on to the next key. Production is dependent on many factors: the weather, the climate, demand, supply, geography, technology, current economic condition, government intervention, resource availability. In short, there are many factors that affect production. I let the following screenshots talk for themselves. It's not hard to see how these factors could affect production. But for now, let's move on to the last key. Multiple groups have already voiced their concern regarding the lack of support they're getting from the Department of Agriculture. Groups such as PKSK, Filmis, UBRA, PKKK, PKMM, and Katarungan. While some may say it is easy to just criticize the government, their protests are not unfounded. Considering issues like this, it's not that hard to imagine why people think the government is not doing enough. One solution is the controversial rice tarification law. Here's the plan. The rice tarification law, or RTL for short, allows rice to be imported into the country. It then imposes tariffs on those imports. Those tariffs are then spent helping the Philippine agricultural sector through something called the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund. RCEF has a budget of 10 billion pesos. 5 billion would go to Philmec to be spent for machines and equipments. This would help in the modernization of the agricultural sector of the Philippines. 3 billion would then go to PhilRice to be spent for, and I quote the Philippine News Agency here, the development, propagation, and promotion of inbred rice seeds to rice farmers. 1 billion would be allocated for loans to farmers, while the remaining 1 billion would be used for training and education on modern farming techniques and machines. RTL was put into effect last year, February 2019, but it can't exactly be called a success. Now, in the first week of February 2020, the farm gate price of unmilled rice hit its lowest in 8 years. Why? Well, we'll get back to that. Let's go back to our model. The TRL allows the importation of rice. This increases the supply in the market. A little review in economics. This diagram shows supply and demand. Where the supply and demand curves meet is called the equilibrium point, and the price at that point is the equilibrium price. Now, RTL effectively increases the supply. which can be shown in this diagram as a shift in the supply curve. And as we can see, the price goes down. Now, on one hand, lower prices benefits us, the consumers. However, low prices also means less profit for farmers. The flow of RTL doesn't stop there. The damage done to farmers by RTL outweighs the benefits it has to consumers. Given the less than successful implementation of the rice tariffication law, there are some aspects of it that are a step in the right direction. So, how exactly can we save the struggling agricultural sector? The rice tariffication law is actually a good place to start. Modifying this law might be able to help us save the agricultural sector. First, there should be an increase in the tariffs imposed on imports. The Section 7 of RTL actually gives the President some power to do this under certain restrictions. Second, allocate more budget to help farmers affected by climate change and droughts. Now, how do these changes affect the agricultural sector? Let's remember the problems we're trying to solve here and see how our changes affect them. First, increasing the tariffs would raise the cost of importing goods. This would lower the supply of imports in the Philippines, or the supply in general. And with lower supply comes higher prices. Second, allocating more budget to people affected by climate change and droughts helps farmers from productivity loss. Lastly, proper and competent implementation is what would make this all possible in the first place. This modified RTL is far from a perfect solution. However, it is a reasonable compromise between consumers and farmers. Right now, we can raise awareness of these issues and push for changes. These changes take time. Right now, let's do what we can with what we have.